What's up, risk managers? My name is Nasdaq Anonymous, and I'm addicted to the NQ. And boy, is she one hell of a drug. And welcome to tonight's NA meeting, where we'll discuss the economic data for the week, analyze today's session, and from that, build a winning game plan for tomorrow's price action. And if you haven't done so already, you can show your support by subscribing to the channel. And with that said, let's jump into the charts now. This is tomorrow's data. Be mindful that all times are in Central Time. And we have a small block of news scheduled for tomorrow, so let's jump into it. At 9:30, we have some crude news, and at 12 o'clock, we have the 10-year note auction. And now that we know what to expect, let's jump into the charts and create a game plan for tomorrow's price action. This is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream, and today was definitely a range day. More accurately, today did trend, but again, we trended in a big, giant range. And as I analyze the charts, I see about 3 clues that's going to be essential for helping us find the best trades going into tomorrow's stream. So let's jump into it. During the overnight session, the Nasdaq opened with a 16-point gap that was followed by a 271-point move to the upside that failed to fill the gap between 394 and 509. Instead, we saw smart money sweep the liquidity, resting above 394, and sold the market 474 points to the downside, forming this two-legged pullback where the bulls found support. And from here, this is where we saw the market rally 522 points to the upside, failing to fill its gap for the second time. And towards the end of the session, we saw the market sell off. And based on this price action, here's what I'm going to be looking for. So towards the end of the session, we saw this massive sell-off after the bulls failed to fill that gap between 509 and 394. And from this sell-off, we did see an initial pump from the earning results, but after price reached these EMAs, we saw the market violently continue to sell off. And where price closed, this is going to be make or break for the bulls. If we don't see the bulls hold off this range, a range between 1870 and 1825, if they fail to hold this range, and we can definitely see a retest of this low at 17,961. But I do have a range between this low and 40 that the bulls are definitely going to have to hold, because if the market trades underneath that low and it continues to sell off through that 40 level, we can definitely see a massive stop run to the downside. And if you look over here at the hourly chart, we can definitely see a retest of this low, possibly around 895 here on the Nasdaq. Based on this structure, it does appear that the Nasdaq is preparing for a massive move down, running the stops underneath these lows and possibly retesting this level right here before we see any attempt for a move to the upside. Now, if the market does continue to sell off, and this was just a big move down, a retracement, and a third leg down, then we definitely can expect a red day going into tomorrow. But the price action overnight is definitely going to be essential for our bias going into tomorrow's stream. Now, if you're enjoying the content and appreciate the value that me and my trading partner provides to the trading community, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the release of our next NA meeting and live streams. And with that said, let's jump into an ES chart. This is an ES chart, and this is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream. And just like the NQ, during the overnight session, the ES had a bullish open, trading 56 points to the upside, but trading nowhere near his gap between 358 and 345. Here, we see the bulls fail to maintain control and push price higher. And here's where we see smart money step in and sell the market 84 points to the downside, forming this two-legged pullback where the bulls found support. And from here, the ES rallied 120 points to the upside, but still failing to fill that gap. And just like the NQ, we saw a massive sell-off going into the close. And based on this price action, here's what I'm going to be looking for. Now, we did see that on both instruments, the ES and the Nasdaq failed to fill its gap on both of its attempts. And from their failure, we saw both markets sell off into the close. Now, both markets are currently sitting in areas which could be considered support. And if we see a break of this support, we can definitely see a massive move to the downside. And if you look over here at the hourly chart, you can see it more clearly. Now, what I see price coming back and rebalancing a previous area of supply. And from this rebalance, we're starting to see the market trade to the downside. And this low right here doesn't look like it's going to be able to hold off and absorb all this bearish momentum to the downside. So I do expect that if the bulls fail to protect this low, we can definitely see a retest of this 190 area. But we still have to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. So if the bulls can hold off that 220 to 215 area, we can definitely see the bulls find support and making a move to the upside. But what's more likely is that we see the bears continue to sell price down, possibly retesting and taking out this low and retesting this low here around 120. Now, we've definitely seen a lot of volatility in both markets lately. We've seen big moves to the up and downside as the market tries to determine which direction it wants to trade into. Right now, the bears are in control because price is violently leaving a previous area of supply. And in summary, both markets had bullish opens. Both markets had big moves to the upside, but failed to fill their gaps. And finally, both markets saw a sell-off into the close and will need to hold key areas if the bulls want to maintain control of this market. And that's all I have for tonight, risk managers. And you can watch us trade these concepts live by clicking this video. We'll see you there.